Sheriff, you or Chelsea, which you want to make any comments, the letter?
As far as the residential is one, the down estimate, I think they started.
How old do you think they are? I know that feeling. You've got 2 or 3 different quotes here, Dwayne, anywhere from 4,000, 4,500 to 31 and 21, whatever, I'm not sure exactly. Optiplex. You were talking about in your letter malware and virus problem. Have you had virus problems? Do you guys do backup? You back up all your systems every day? We've got, are you networked, all your computers in your office networked together? Do you have a standalone server or?
Yeah, they're all networked in our computer. And our tax is, probably what we're using now, is not online, not the old one.
Yeah, who does your IT work? Who's your guy that you call if you have problems? We've got a good guy that we use, Tech 2000, I guess is their name. They do an awful lot of work for governments of all kinds and offices, various elected offices, and of course I guess right now their biggest, they've grown so big, their biggest customer I think is Lexmark and maybe AT&T. He helps us an awful lot. He comes in and recommends stuff to us we don't even know about. If you'd like me to ask him to come in and talk to you guys, I'd be more than happy to. But I mean, I guess the problem I've got with this request as a whole is the same things I've had that we've been talking about for 2 years. You know, last month we sat here and talked for 15, 20 minutes about the economic problems this country's facing, and it's had impacts, serious impacts on every facet of and financial well-being of every family in America, just about. The government, certainly at the federal level and the state level and here locally, but we've all been affected the same way. In the federal government, they've got sequestration. They got people laid off. My son, U.S. Marshal, he has to take his, I don't know what you call it, 2-week sabbatical twice a year. They've got hiring freezes in every law enforcement agency in Washington, the military. I just saw the other day where the military is cutting back on, they're going to stop hazardous duty pay even. 101st Airborne are being cut at Fort Campbell, and it's dramatically slashed money at every level, and the hiring freezes and furloughs and so forth have made all of us tighten their belts. Governor Beshear, I talked to him not too long ago at a meeting we had in Louisville, and he said that the cutbacks that they had made was across all cabinets. They didn't leave anybody out. A couple of cabinets were cut more heavily than others, but every single facet was cut out. I've been on the same podium with Lieutenant Governor Abramson as president of the Judges Association on the executive committee. I meet with them quite a bit, and I've been on the same podium talking with them. And he talked the other day when he spoke. I wasn't at the leadership conference, but I saw a copy of his speech. And Lieutenant Governor was talking about the seriousness of the recession and its impact on state government. He talked about impact on revenues. He talked about how it impacted the cost of personnel and fringe benefits. He talked about was one of the fastest growing things. That's what I talked about last month. That was about to kill us. And they've had to cut services the same as everybody else had. And he noted, just the same as we did last month, that every dollar you spend that you don't have, or if it's something new that comes up, you have to reach over and take money away from a service, a good or service or something that you're producing or that your particular office is responsible for. You got to find that money someplace. And I mentioned last month that we had $100,000 in increased insurance costs alone. And that was an outrageous amount. We've never had that kind of an increase before, and that's $100,000 we didn't have sitting here with nothing to do. We had to try to find someplace to find that $100,000. And when we do that, then that's a $100,000 worth of cost you got to cut someplace else. And we're getting to the point where it's just hard for us to meet. And the Lieutenant Governor told me in Louisville one day that I said, well, what are you guys doing? He said, we're cutting across the board. We're not leaving anything untouched, except I think K through 12. They come back and did something on it. I asked him about the state police. He told me the state police had been cut, and he said the state police have the fewest number of officers on the road today than they've had in a generation. He told us that the average mileage on their cruisers is 125,000. And he said, this affects everybody. There's nobody that's not affected. And we're in the same boat. We've been trying to warn our local agencies. We've talked to you guys. We've talked to Sally Ann. We've asked for your help, and we've tried to warn you that sooner or later the time's coming that we can't continue to unilaterally expend money for other offices from our own budget. We're all constitutional officers. We all have our same obligations to different people. And, we don't tell Sally Ann who to hire, what, or when to hire them. We don't tell you who to hire and when to hire them, or how much. That's something that is left up to you guys under the Constitution. And you set their pay scales. We have no say in that, and therefore we don't have any obligation to try to make up any shortfalls. And we told you last month that our fringes and employee costs have never been higher, and with the increased money that went into health care, went to about $828, something like that, or $840, I'm not sure now. When you calculate what we pay for health insurance, I calculated just for health insurance and pension alone was $6.39, I believe, an hour. I noticed a contract the other day the state gave you for the Rails to Trails coverage. Their fringe benefit estimate was $7 and something, which is